conseguía una fresca. Got myself some rum, cause where I'm from sometimes you need some. Me tomé mi trago y una princesa pasó por mi lado. La miré con ganas, con esa carita de fama. Ella miró, oh sí, ella pasó, oh no. Ella se volteó con una sonrisa. Tengo que bailar con...
Oh, for life. It has to be on me. The camera should be on me. Winston, the camera should be on me.
Oh, yeah.
أبلش؟
Good Baltimore morning! Buenos dias. My name is Kira Wisniewski, and I have the distinct pleasure to be your host and co-organizer of Creative Mornings Baltimore. We're so excited to be coming to you live from Alma Casino Latina, located in the Canton neighborhood in our beloved Baltimore City. You may have heard the news yesterday. Unfortunately, this location will be closing, but we'll be reopening soon in a TBD space. So we're looking forward to that, but even more special for us to be in this space together today and you joining us virtually. I want to say first, before we get started though, Black Lives Matter. We're all going through some trauma right now, and I just want to recognize that and be so thankful for you joining us today. Whether you're joining us on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, you should go ahead and share that link right now. I'll let you go ahead and share it out. Creative Mornings Baltimore is one of over 200 chapters from around the world. That what unites us is that we believe that everyone is creative and everyone is invited. So one more time, go ahead and share that button. And please tag us on social media. We're at Baltimore_CM. We'd love to see what things are looking like from whatever platform you're joining us from today. We know that this can't replace the IRL event, but hopefully you still feel part of this community. We'll be sending out a brief survey later today, and we hope that you fill it out. We love actionable feedback, so thank you in advance for filling that out. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we're using this platform, because you're all like Zoom fatigue, so here we are. We also have some volunteers that are in the chats right now, so hi y'all. We've got Anita and Arlene, and we've also got Sabina, and then we also have Amanda Mustard, who's going to do a live illustration of this talk. So, hey, Amanda. Each month, we like to ask someone special to read our manifesto, and today we have the honor to welcome Chef Iman from Mirror Kitchen Collective. Mirror Kitchen Collective is a community-driven, food-based cooperative focused on the empowerment of chefs from around the world, celebrating the skills and talents in their kitchen, highlighting the value of newcomers bringing to the fabric of the society. If you were with us last August at Center Stage with Lisa Snowden-McCrae, Chef Iman was sharing some breakfast with us then. And so please welcome Chef Iman to read the Creative Mornings Manifesto.
الكل مبدع. تتطلب الحياة بالإبداع، الشجاعة والصدق والعمل الجاد. نحن هنا لندعم ونحتفل بك ونشجعك على صناعة الأشياء التي تحبينها. نحن نؤمن بقوة المجتمع، نحن نؤمن بالعطاء، نحن نؤمن بالتواصل الاجتماعي والتعليم من الآخرين والمودة. نحن نجمع بين الأشخاص الذين يدفعهم الشغف والهدف والثقة من أنهم سيلهمون بعضهم البعض ويلهمون التغيير في الأحياء والمدن حول العالم. نرحب بالجميع.
Thank you so much, Chef Iman.
Thank you.
Creative Mornings is run on an engine of generosity made possible by volunteers and fueled by companies and people that believe in the community, people and companies that give a damn. Typically, I'd ask our volunteers to stand, but I do want to give a special shout out right now to Mario, Sabina, Arlene, Anita, Winston, Henley, Sean, and Veronica. This would not be possible without them, for real. This is also where I would share the logos of some of our beloved partners, but we're going analog, and luckily I have some science for you, courtesy of Alpha Graphics. I've said it many times before, but on a very personal level, one of the greatest things about Creative Mornings Baltimore is an opportunity to work with some of our favorite local businesses. Well, that includes Alpha Graphics, PASA, Impact Hub, Local Color Flowers, Maryland Art Place, Pixelated Photo Booth, White Tea Company, and of course, we're sponsored globally by MailChimp, WordPress, and Basecamp. If you can't go patron them right now. Go ahead and follow them on the internet, or go ahead and give them a positive review. Like, our local businesses need us more than ever right now. So this month's theme is purpose, and it was done by Indianapolis and illustrated by Jason Ratcliffe. And when Vera and I first spoke to Irena, it was back in February, and the world has really changed quite a bit since then. But I'm so excited to have Irena here today. It's been such a joy and delight to work with her this past month, and y'all are just like really in for a treat. Irena Stein, by way of Paris, Brussels, and San Francisco, moved to Baltimore in 1998. Excited to experience life in smaller but strongly historic American city, she started her career in the culinary world in 2002, soon after opened Cafe Azafran at the Space Telescope Science Institute at Johns Hopkins. Alchemia is the second cafe that opened in the Humanities Building in the same Wood campus. Both have been pioneers in introducing sustainability, zero waste, and food environments at Hopkins, but above all, they have provided day after day delicious food by the very brilliant community that surrounds them. Since 2012, Irena has been dreaming of sharing her childhood cultural background with the city of Baltimore, and to present it beyond the borders of Hopkins, and Alma Cocina Latina is her project with that in mind. Creative Mornings Baltimore, please help me welcome Irena Stein to the virtually hybrid stage.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. So my name is Irena, and I am very honored to be with you. And I wanted to start by telling you that I was born with a tremendous love for life and everything that life is involved. So it's basically everything that surrounds us. So from early on, I did notice within my reflection since I was a little girl that the most important thing in order to embrace all the life and all the interests that I had was to make sure that my purpose, to be around in life would be very clear to me. So I had so much interest in so many things that I had to remain focused. And so from early age, this is what I did. And purpose for me is really what gives meaning to our lives. We can have weak purposes, we have strong purposes, and those make a huge difference in what we can accomplish. Because the energy that we put behind our purpose, if we refresh it every day, it gives us tremendous energy and courage to continue no matter what the obstacles towards the things that we can and want to accomplish. It wasn't easy for me originally because I was growing up in a place where women, were, the goal for women was not very, very high, family, marriage, etc. from Venezuela. But so my self-esteem was very so-so. And I had to battle that all around my 20s tremendously and keep in mind the dreams that I had, which were many. And I was fortunate to live in several parts of the world due to my father's career, and was able through every activity that I was involved in to realize that I had to be very serious about purpose. So purpose as a propeller is the focus of the talk today. So I wanted to tell you an example of what purpose has meant with the pandemic. So for me, purpose has to do with also involving other people. It's not just my life. I don't believe that being happy is possible with an environment that is not happy. So for me, the commitment to my environment is as important as my own life. So it's always been on parallel. I work on the two things, and I devote my life to the two things. And that makes me feel much better, and it makes sense to my life. So when this pandemic came, again, the first thing that I thought was, well, there is a pandemic, there's a reason for this pandemic. We treat our planet really poorly. And because of that, we have situations like this. We treat each other very poorly as well. And there's a tremendous lack of respect for everything that surrounds us. And we're very easy at, bursting in anger or bursting and pointing fingers and all of that. And that doesn't give any solution to anything. So the pandemic having come to a situation of very dangerous health for many, many millions of people, I thought immediately that this was an opportunity to think beyond the restaurant, where we have delicious food for those who visit, but also to see how Alma, a Venezuelan restaurant in Baltimore, could contribute to the well-being of our surroundings and our communities. And this is when we came again in contact with Mira Kitchen Collective, who we've been partnering with for a while, for a couple of years. And it made total sense because they also have tremendous sense of purpose in what's behind their work. Just like us, Alma is not just a place that feeds you. It's a place that wants to create community. It's a place where we want you to feel at home. It's a place that, when you leave, we want you to have that difference, with the cocktail, the ambiance, the servers, the philosophy, kindness, music, culture, all of it. And Mira Kitchen is the same thing, very attentive to humanity, very attentive to respect for employees. And so it was just a natural connection to bring our purposes together and create something for Baltimore. So the same week then the governor asked us to close is the same week that we immediately partnered with Mira and decided to do something together by creating really great, well-balanced, healthy meals for the communities in need and our neighbors in need. The pandemic brings problems that we're going to be facing for a long time. Problems of hunger, problems of malnutrition, problems of poor food. It has also brought to our attention, which I'm really glad about, the disparities of the city, the inequalities in the city related to food, related to racism. And it's very interesting how structurally it is, divided that way, Baltimore. And we would like very much to spend the whole pandemic time and the future trying to abolish these inequalities, because I think it's a fantastic opportunity. So since then, we have made 65,000 meals since the beginning of March. We have gotten tremendous support from World Central Kitchen that sponsored many of them. And we've had support with grants and private donations. And that really, all of you, the idea is all of you help us to continue this project and to feed Baltimore with tremendous dignity and respect, the most wonderful and healthy food. So I'd like to introduce you also to our team, because this is not about me, this is not about Mira, it's about all of us. And I'd like you to very much see how our kitchen works and who is making all the meals for all of us. So let's go to the kitchen. Dime una cosa, ¿qué te parece el programa? ¿Cómo te sientes trabajando con este programa?
Hola a todos que nos estás viendo por ese medio. Nosotros estamos aquí haciendo un proyecto muy importante para nuestra comunidad y estamos muy contentos de trabajar aquí felizmente, y así con todo un equipo aquí estamos sirviendo para nuestra comunidad.
Please tell us, Iman, how you feel about our project and the sense of purpose of this project.
هلا المشروع اللي نحن هذا طبعا اكيد نحن هذا عاملين المشروع لانه انا لما اجي كنت بحاجه هلا في ناس محتاجه اكثر.
So David, you've been cooking all over the world with many cultures and for many cultures in the finest restaurants, and now you're coordinating all the activity of all the cooks here that come from so many different countries. What is your purpose? How has it changed your sense of definition of what a chef should be doing right now or can do?
Well, it has. It has, because I think this is something like every chef should be doing in, a crisis, a pandemic like the one we're living in today. We are, we have in our hands the power to help the community in some other ways that people can. and that's just amazing. That's like a change of my vision as a chef that I'm gonna continue to do in the next years, and I hope I can keep doing this for a while.
Hi.
Hello, my name is Aisha Fadala from Mira Kitchen.
My name is Emily, and I'm from Mira Kitchen Collective.
The project started by us thinking the restaurant business wasn't working before. The workers were marginalized, small marginal profits compared to other industries. And we're thinking what was holding us from thriving, and how can we exist from outside of a culture of capitalism? How can we exist changing our culture from scarcity and competition to collaboration and abundance? Our politics won't change anytime soon, so we had to kind of think about a way where how can we create change within our own community? So we thought about collaborating and maybe pooling our resources to create a restaurant industry or a food environment that kind of center the workers and the quality of food, and dignifying the workers by giving fair wages, providing, as Irena said, healthy meals, dignifying meals for the community.
So in a time when, especially during the pandemic, when everything seemed impossible almost, it all in one way made everything seem possible. Because what were we going to do? Let's just kind of try everything. And, we had this initial thought of, with restaurants closing and thinking outside this idea of scarcity, what can we create that supports our workers? And it was really just this idea of like, we thought of it over the period of like an hour. Let's just create a GoFundMe and let's see what happens. And let's see if we can make enough meals for a week and get enough money for a week. And here we are 6 months later. And like Irena said, thanks to like getting everybody involved and as many people involved as we can. And, using this opportunity to again, think beyond what's possible and think beyond what may have happened in the food business before, and doing things that people in the past may have said, like, this isn't how it works. This is bad business. This isn't how a kitchen works. And I think it's created this opportunity for us to just continue exploring. So in thinking about purpose, it really is just trying to create something that's larger than ourselves and that's outside of ourselves. And how do we exist outside of this capitalist structure and come together to collaborate? So with that in mind, we are more powerful together.
So the idea behind what we're doing is not just involving food and giving food for free to the communities. If we're going to think about this and about the purpose of it, we have to think holistically. So that involves many things. And I wish I had an infographic to show what I mean by that. But there are so many components to the meals. The sustainability has to be a primary focus on this. So we have included the fact that there's a tremendous health problem in the city of Baltimore with obesity, diabetes. So the kind of food that we give is made every single day. Half of the meals ideally carry vegetables, very healthy. We make everything from scratch every day. And a component of it that is very important is the vegetable side of it, which leads me to talk to you and invite you to the next section of purpose, and it is our interaction with the local farms. We're currently working with several of them. Farm Alliance is one of them, and it'll grow very much so, and we admire everything they're doing. And Third Wave Farm, which is a farm that you'll meet Tommy very soon. It's a farm that we worked with for a long time already. And Tommy has a very strong sense of purpose. His farm is based on really the subject of climate change. Every product that he does is organic. and he will talk to you a little bit about how he has envisioned his farm. And so this is an enormous honor to be able to break a little bit the old traditional food distribution systems and get purveyors, such local purveyors and farms, to work with us and directly feed the communities that we're talking about and we're trying to support via food. So this is one very important aspect, and wanted you to please join us for a little tour at Third Wave Farm. Thank you.
Welcome to Third Wave Farm. My name's Tommy. I run this farm with my wife, Michelle, and we've been here for about 6 years. And I was really captivated by some of the really big problems that our world is facing today. Particularly climate change came into view for me as an issue that I feel that we as a human civilization desperately need to engage and think about and adapt to if we're going to sustain ourselves for the future. I didn't want this farm to be like a lot of our big industrial farming system, which is focused on mass producing one thing. Look around us here, we see a forest is really kind of the ultimate of a natural ecosystem, where you have hundreds, if not thousands, of different living species all growing together, working together, and sharing that space. And it creates resilience, it creates a sustainable ecosystem. And so any good farming system or farming operation, I believe, should seek to mimic nature. So some of the things that make up our work then are vegetable production, which we do here and where we're headed next, which is an organic production. And then we do a variety of different livestock. We have chickens, pigs, and sheep. And we have them here as a way to diversify and complement the work we do with our vegetables and our pastures and our forests. And so all of these things work together to create a healthier ecosystem, and one that can produce healthy and abundant food for our community.
So the reason of this whole purpose of being with you today and spending a few minutes together is also to not only to share our passion and our dream and our project, initiative, call it however you want to call it, the commitment to Baltimore. We wanted to reach out to everyone and say that Baltimore's problems in relation to food should be solved by Baltimore residents. And we'd like to invite you to somehow join us in every possible way, through every effort, to make sure we dismantle the old ways of Baltimore that leave aside half the population. And together we can make a very different Baltimore. We're going to be moving to a new space. We cannot really reveal where it's going to be, but I think it's going to be a place where we have a better possibility to increase the amount of food what we're doing, and also talk with all of you about how many projects we can do to make the city of Baltimore a model for the world. And what do you say?
Thank you, Irena, for including us in this and being part of this team together. For me, the most exciting thing is bringing two teams together to make an even more dynamic and exciting team, where we're really sharing in all the ups and downs, and it just makes everything we're doing more creative and more exciting. So it's been a true pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for that community. And we do have the power and the money and the talent in Baltimore. We just have to restructure the distribution of power and money, because we do have an abundance here that we need to share.
Yay! It's so weird, right? We got a crowd to be. I'm just imagining you all clapping at home right now, right? So now it's time for our Q&A. So if you want to type the chat and use the chat to type in your questions, whatever platform you're using, we should hopefully be able to see it, and then we'll be able to pop it up on the screen to engage in a lively Q&A. So go ahead. I'll give you a moment or two to get some of those questions started. But I'll go ahead and I'll start with one. The work of that you do, Irena, along with the work that Mirror Kitchen Collective does, it makes so much sense that you're working together. Like the values and the principles are all really there. So this union is beautiful, and the work that you're doing is incredible. But how did you initially connect? How did you first meet?
It's again, through one of our members in Alma. Andrew Carter was a server here. He had to move to Charlottesville, unfortunately, but he was a very active part of our team, and he knows that Alma has always led a very strong philosophical base to everything we do. So one day he went to volunteer at some event, at Mira, and came back the next day and said, "Hey, Irena, you have to meet this woman, Emily, because the two of you are going to do incredible things together. You have to meet her." And then several weeks later or months later, we finally met, and it was exactly that. We were just a match made in heaven for doing things together. One of the reasons being is that Mira is a group that is in action. So the idea here is not to think and maybe someday, but no, there is a need. Let's work on the need right away. And because of their training in their past life as well, before Mira, they have that capacity, which I love because it's a fast movement. And the idea is that let's do. We have a problem, let's fix it. And I like that way of working. So it's not theoretical, it's very practical. And I really like that. And I thank Andrew Carter every day for being with us.
And I have to thank Irena for opening her kitchen to us, not once, but several times. And I don't know anyone else who there were times that they were asked to do catering jobs, and instead they just completely gave us the job, gave us the space, and they've been supportive in every way. So I had to come on camera and say that and acknowledge the generosity and like the openness and how this has evolved from just doing one event to like now every minute together.
It's great. We now live together. No, daytime.
But I mean, I like champion for Baltimore so hard, and I think it's in part because of like people like y'all and like this community that you're part of. This community, the community that you create is just so inspiring and incredible. So we do have a question. So how can people be in action with you?
It's a really good question. We are still very small. We only have right now approximately, we do 500 meals a day. We have the team to do so. I think in the future, what's going to happen is that we're going to start involving more people. For example, we want chefs from the city of Baltimore to join us once a week and to make a meal for these communities. So these neighborhoods that have never had the opportunity to go to these restaurants taste the whole world of culinary situation in Baltimore, and vice versa. The chef can cook for neighbors that would not come as well. So that's one. I think that later on, the idea is to just always keep thinking of Baltimore as your own city, not just the Baltimore in your own world, but the Baltimore at large. Because if you start thinking on the ways that you can help, there are a million ways to participate. You can participate in so many ways. Give us ideas. We can link together our project with other projects. We can do so many things. And so just send us ideas, please, for now. And let's start a dialogue, a much bigger dialogue, because I think this is going to grow into, the idea is all Baltimore together, again, changing Baltimore. And if it's not up to us, then who is it? And of course, if you know anyone that could give us grants so that we can continue our project, please, by all means, because this is directly going to affect the health and the well-being of our community.
That actually leads to another question that we have from Helen, who's joining us on Facebook. She says, thank you so much. And also, can you tell us about the funding?
That's a question for Emily.
Come over here.
Yeah.
Well, we started with the GoFundMe, and then World Central Kitchen has been providing a lot of funding. We've been applying for different grants. We have so many individuals who've given us money. We're really open to any ideas. So if you have ideas on funding, we love that too. I mean, we've sustained this now for 6 months, and we plan to keep going. So grants, individual donors, World Central Kitchen, and any other ideas that you have.
Great, thank you. So our next question is, how do you decide who gets the food? How do you plan your distributions? Is that also Emily?
Go ahead. No, because she's the communicator with the different people.
Not in the kitchen. I would slow everything down. We started with a request from friends in Southwest Baltimore, and it's kind of grown through there. So anyone and everyone who's reached out, whether it's different schools or it's dropping food off at individuals' houses, just kind of creating the network and through people who we know and recommendations. We haven't had to say no to anybody yet. So and we haven't reached our full capacity yet. So we're able to keep adding more and more every day. So we haven't had to make any tough decisions. It's really just using the network of people we know who've been involved with Mira, who've been involved with Alma, and beyond that.
I know, I don't know if you can, yeah, you can kind of see right now. You can see all of these containers set out because right now they're actually doing food for food distribution right now. This table that we're working on right now, as soon as we're done, is also going to be filled with containers. Do you know how many meals you're doing today?
470.
Wow.
470, yeah.
So the next question that we have, Kelly Quinn from YouTube says, I appreciate your comments about practical thinking. What other specific skills or knowledge do people in food possess to get things done? I think of you as a community organizer.
Well, again, I think that we cannot isolate a restaurant and the food activity without taking into consideration this whole aspect of sustainability. And for example, we're reaching out to Johns Hopkins University. They have a Center for a Livable Future that we reach out to because they're interested in us participating in a project called Planetary Health Diet. Now, a planetary health diet is very difficult to start with because it involves a much smaller amount of animal protein and a big amount of vegetable and fruit. You have to get also neighbors to get used to eating like this. It's not, from one day to the next. But the idea of reaching out to them is to having a continuous effort together as well with research, academics, food policy makers, residents, chefs, etc., and activists, community leaders participate in this endeavor. So all of us together, and please reach out if you have any immediate way that we can increase one other aspect of this holistic approach to sustainability and food.
So then our next question is, what has been the reception of the food that you've been providing for the community?
Well, mostly we have distribution centers that we take the food to, or we deliver, or they deliver directly from us. But the Center for a Livable Future has helped us by providing in Spanish and English a survey of what we're doing, because we want to make sure that people are enjoying the food. It's a very different food. It's not junk food, and it's very fresh, and it changes, every day. So, but we want to make sure, because here you can see the reaction of people at the restaurant, but when you are feeding so many people, you don't know how they're receiving it. So it's been wonderful. And through the surveys have been predominantly fantastic. I think that middle school students are not necessarily very, in love with the amount of vegetables we're serving, but that's to be expected. And the rest of the surveys have been great. And this is one of the things that is good, because beyond the pandemic, the situation with the health of our residents it's a very old problem that we really need to solve. So it's going to go for several years, and we're committed to do this for several years. So any ideas, please, on how to make it even faster, a faster goal altogether, are very welcome.
All right, our next question is, does this project source food from Baltimore's Black farmers?
Yeah, so the Farm Alliance, which I had mentioned before, has been in communication with Emily, and the farms that we work with them and Third Way, if they have extra food from the crops that they have not been able to sell. They tell us, they give us a list, and then we welcome that. It can be a discount, it can be donation, but in both cases, yes. And I think that the future is going to be a very tight relationship, which we really look forward to. And then you'll see we're going to start our own Instagram, Alquimia with an H at the end, .com, or alquimiabaltimore.com. Yes? The Instagram, alquimia.com, see? But anyway, you'll see our activity and relationship with the farms. We're going to go visit the farms and create this bond moving forward, a much stronger. Remember, we've been under pandemic situation. We have tried to stay put in our kitchen so that everybody's protected, everybody's in good health. But we will be starting to visit these farms, keep our distances, keep our masks on, and then create this tight relationship. Absolutely.
What is the meal today?
The meal today is actually a turkey meatball with a sauce on top. It has Israeli couscous and coleslaw. So coleslaw has the cabbage that is really good for you. Anyway, so it's a simple meal, but it changes. We have salmon one day, we have salmon croquette, we have one vegetarian day a week. I don't know how popular that is. That's a question. So it's always this, give and take of what we want to do and what is well received, but it changes every day. Yeah. Chicken, a lot of chicken, of course.
Can you repeat the name of the new? Oh, and I think we have a banner. Wow, our team's so good. Can you repeat the name?
Alquimia, Alkimiah. And Alquimia is, we put that name because it's an Arabic word that is used also in Spanish, alquimia, with a Q-U. But it's the alchemy, the process of alchemy. And in this case, for us, is the symbol that we receive ingredients and food, and we transform it into gold, which are these lovely meals that we're presenting to our neighbors in need. So that is the alchemy, is because food is gold, and food is a privilege, and it should be a human right. And we want to present it the best way and the most delicious way. Delicious is really important, because if it's not delicious, who cares, right?
Our next question comes from Alice, who's joining us on YouTube. She says, thank you for talking with us and sharing your purpose this morning. How do you maintain confidence and optimism in your purpose when everything seems so uncertain?
That's a fantastic question. So one of the things that I wanted to say at the beginning, but of course I forgot because I block a lot of things when you're nervous. But one of the things that I wanted to say is that in order, I think that we live in a society where it's really hard to keep your focus on your passion and your sense of how much you can contribute to society, because we feel a lot of times that the negativity is so strong that your dreams seem so little, or how are you going to make them happen. But that's a really social thing that we have to just really disregard and think every day, how do I do this? And so we need to be very strong. We call that in Buddhism to have a strong life condition. And to have a strong life condition is that laziness, fears, all these things that we all experience, we have to put them, aside every day and decide that this is what I'm going to do. And sometimes your body, your life, everything's like, no, I don't want to work this hard. I don't want to do this. But in the end, at the end of the day, then you've accomplished something that you really love, and you've accomplished for you and for others. And so I keep on thinking, wow, it's so easy to be mean. It's so easy to be cruel. It's so easy to be lazy. It's so easy to spend your time looking at Instagram all day. And it's so difficult to disregard all that and say, this is what I'm going to do with my life. But if we get into that discipline, just like working out, or etc., then it's much easier. But it's a discipline that one has to develop, and then we go at it every day. And then you find your community to help you. So when you're down, they're up, etc. So we all help each other. When we feel a little bit like that, to have a community is definitely wonderful, because the days you're down, you go up immediately. Oh, sorry.
So we have a little bit of time left. I was wondering if you had any questions for each other. Wanted to come back around. I'm talking to the folks in Mira. They're off camera.
Come on.
I'm inviting them to come back and join us again, just to kind of invite any questions for each other. That's just a couple minutes we have left.
How is your purpose has been evolved through the time? especially through this last few months?
Well, I think it's at its best point. And I'm glad, because I think that we should live lives like if it was the last day of your life. And so I have no regrets in that sense, to have lived, with all the efforts that we do. I think that to find a community with all of you during the pandemic is a dream because we haven't stopped 1 minute. I mean, although I am jealous of people that stay home and, can just relax a little bit. But in our case, it's been a very, very active time. And this purpose, it's been an extraordinary moment in life. So, and I forgot your question.
Just how it's been evolving, how it's been changing. I think the pandemic has us realizing the collective need of a purpose. I think we should move away from like an individual sense of purpose because it's very individualistic and it's not serving us as a community. And I think this project, at least for me, had made me understand the importance of collective power and collective purpose.
What helped me is that this is like my third career because I go all over since, like I was telling you, I love life so much that, I'm always including everything. But I'm an anthropologist originally, and I studied social work. So I worked with communities for many, many years. So this is a natural thing for me. It's not like the politically correct thing to do, but rather it comes from my heart and from who I love. And I love human beings so much. And I just hope for the best. So that and the love of food, and then finding a community like you and community like Baltimore, who I adore, that it's just so good because it's not alone, it's together. And the richness of all of our ideas together is fantastic. We bounce ideas every day and it was like, yeah. And so I don't know, it's just really wonderful to be together.
Yeah. And personally, I see like the wisdom that you bring to the project, and like we bring a lot of energetic and like very radical ideas, and the people in the kitchen bringing different kind of perspectives, and it's a good sense of tension that creates movement and it creates change.
Definitely. And we're all different, so that's good because it's not like we all are the same. And the difference is what's difficult, and the difference is what's wonderful at the same time. So that creates true dialogue and honesty all the time. So.
Well, I really want to thank all of you so much for sharing with us more about the work that you're doing. It's so valuable for our city, and we're just, our city's so lucky to have you all here and doing this work. So something that we started doing last month, but of course, let's just keep it interesting and change things every month, is we asked to do a selfie moment with the speaker. But of course, Irena, being Irena, doesn't want to just have Irena in the selfie moment, but everyone. So while they're gathering everyone, so you can then at home, take a picture with them on camera. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what's coming up next, and start doing some thank yous. So I want to thank everyone here at Alma, everyone at Mira Kitchen. I want to thank the CM Ball team that made this happen. Made this happen today. Mario, Winston, Henley, Sean, Sabina, Anita, Arlene, Amanda. Shout out to Alyssa, our ASL interpreter from PASA. I want to put on your calendar for next month. We're excited to have Nicoletta De La Brown come discuss the theme of spectrum. And that's going to be on Friday, September 25th at 9 a.m. We're very, very excited to have her. And then hopefully volunteers in the chat are going to be able to drop the link to the survey I mentioned at the top of the event. Again, we'd also love to see what it looks like on your end. So please tag us on social media, and we're at Baltimore_CM. And I'm gonna step away now and let this selfie moment happen. So thank you again. Have a great Baltimore day.
So here's the entire team. So look at this. Beautiful. And we have an amazing team from many places. And I will tell their names because they're huge contributors to what we're doing. So Rogelio, Naomi, Inocencio, Emilian, Cristina, Iman, and David are coordinating chef, and voila! So thank you very much for today. really, really appreciate spending time with you and you with us. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Gracias. Este es Rogelio. Rogelio, oye.
This is my phone.